Boys and girls, I was gonna say something else, but I don't remember. So good morning or good afternoon. Let me know. I would love to know who's tuning in from what city or what country. I haven't asked this question for so long. Who's tuning in from what city? Toronto, Canada, Florida, Texas, Toronto, Palm Springs. My parents have a place in Palm Springs. Japan. Wow, welcome, Japan. So good. A couple people from Japan. Wow, Colorado Springs, great place. Missouri, Kansas, Oregon. Wow, you guys, we have an international crew in the house. How cool is that? Do you guys know, I remember the days that I used to go live online and nobody'd show up. How many of you guys have crickets? Put crickets in the chat. Like you're still working at growing your platforms and you got crickets. I just want to encourage you guys that are getting crickets that really it's about just going live every single day. Okay, like we rent social media. We don't own it. As much as the people who teach social media training would love to say it's the best platform in the world, and it has some huge benefits because you become your own Netflix, right? So there's power to the social channels. However, we rent them and they can be hacked. Even with multiple verifications, they can be hacked. They can be, you don't control the algorithms, but they're actually expensive because to actually be able to talk to all your people, you must run ads, and that's how the game's rigged. So I wanted to start this Shand on demand today to tell you the game of life is rigged, if you want to put it that way, in every aspect, right? Like everybody tells you that when you grow up and get married, when you're single, you think, oh my gosh, my life would be so much better with a partner. And hopefully it is for you guys who are married, right? Or with a life partner. But the truth is that brings a new set of challenges. Am I right or am I right? Put R for right in the chat. How many of you guys can relate to this? It's like you go from single to being in a relationship. Put R for relationship in the chat or for right. It comes with a new set of problems, right? And it feels sometimes like this is rigged. I spent all of this energy, time trying to be in maybe the best shape of my life. If you guys did not prepare for your mates, I'm going to tell you something. I'm being really honest with you. The lack of preparation is a brand. It's a branding challenge. And whether you're growing a business or lead genning a life partner, your brand matters. Do you guys hear what I'm saying? Yes. I said to my friend not too long ago, I said, sweetheart, you have got to at least put on mascara. She's like, I want a man to love me for who I am. I'm like, I get it. But like, if he never brought you flowers or never like took you out for dinner or never did anything nice from you because he wanted you to love him for who he is, do you think it gets better from that moment? No, right? It's like the best foot forward better be a best foot forward, because as comfortability comes in, my friend Rex Crane calls it familiarity. As familiarity comes in, that's where people start to lose authority unless they're very, very intentional about their word. Did you pick that up? Okay, so where does our word come into play? I'm going to show you where 80% of your money is hanging out. I'm going to talk about that today. And but 80%, like me teaching the strategy without having you recognize that you are a walking brand. And you cannot blame people for not trusting you if you keep breaking your word in front of them. Do you guys hear what I'm saying? We talk about this in Hardcore Leadership all the time. So it's not about people being critical towards you. It's about you teach people how to rely on you or not rely on you. So this is a big game because the game is rigged and we create our reputation. Are you guys with me? Put yes. Put yes if you are with me. Are you with me? Put yes if you're with me. So instead of complaining about the rigged game called life and business or marketing or whatever, instead of complaining about, you got to realize you have more power than you think. So I want you to write down the words, connection is currency. Connection is currency. Okay, connection is currency. And so connection is the solution to any problem I can think of. There might be one somewhere that doesn't solve that problem, but it is. So let me show you. Your relationship's falling apart. You got lack of connection. Whether that's lack of making love, whether that's lack of communicating. Some people are making love every single day, but the relationship's still falling apart, right? Why? You got to break down in your connection and communication. Are you guys follow me? Put yes if you are. Marketing, money. Marketing is connection. People are like, Shannon, what's my message? I'm like, your message is not that hard. Your message is how you think about your buyers. Your message is literally why you think your buyers should buy your product or service. And it better not be because you're going to get rich off of it, right? Your message is, you write this down, y'all, because you guys, who are my people who are struggling with your message? Put me. Be honest. Who are my people struggling with your message? Put me. Okay, so you're struggling with intimacy. And so what you're doing is you're second guessing your trust. You're not trusting yourself. And so what you're doing is you're going outside yourself saying, somebody help me with my messaging. You do not have a messaging problem. You have an intimacy challenge, which means I guarantee you, if I follow you around, there is not a block of time situated for you to think about what do you believe about your buyer, because your message has nothing to do with you. It has to do with your buyer. And you can't find your message by looking at you. You can't find your message. So sitting in a conversation where you want somebody else to come up with your message is absolutely a rigged and failing strategy. Who's having an aha moment? Put I am. Who's having an aha moment? Put I am. Okay, so now this is a blessing. I'm telling you, if you show up to Shannon On Demands, your life is going to change, because I'm going to give you real value. Not all of it's going to be applicable to you, but you never know what I'm going to teach that might have a mic drop for you that changes the trajectory of the next hour in life, or a timeline of your life. Do you guys hear what I'm saying? Yes. And so if you haven't noticed, how long have you been battling with figuring out your message? Because you can't market, you can't connect if you don't know your message. You can't, because you don't know what the F you're doing, right? If you can't make a decision for your buyer, if you can't have a thought about why your buyer needs this product, and all you're doing is focusing on, I need to figure out my messaging, I need to figure out what I should sell, I what's my calling? I'm going to tell you, even if you think you figured it out, you will be so freaking broke, because that's not where money gets created. Money gets created in the intersection of connection, because connection creates currency. And that intersection is an intersection with you creating value for a buyer. Okay. So how many of you guys need to go in your schedule right now, and you need to give yourself a 20-minute, you don't need more than 20 minutes. I'm telling you, you do not need more than 20 minutes to figure out your messaging. You have to ask yourself the question, why should my buyer buy from me? Why should they buy from me? Or here's another way, because some of you guys will get blocked on that, right? Because maybe you got a worthiness issue, and then that gets in the way. All of your self-centeredness, whatever you're self-centering on you, so I don't mean that as like an insult. When you are looking at you, like, am I good enough? Am I worthy? It has nothing, it's like, you're in a process game on yourself, which has nothing to do with your buyer. Your buyer's out there right now waiting for you today. You could make money today by connecting with them. They're waiting for you to connect, okay? And they're like, let me know when you're done processing, because I'd like to buy. But I need you to have an opinion. What should I do? What should I buy? And why? Okay, so now I'm going to quickly handle the conversation. By the way, tomorrow I'm going to have somebody on Shannon On Demand who literally generated $55,000 by getting clear on this. She doesn't have it perfect, but she generated $55,000. How many guys would like to generate $55,000? Put 55 in the chat. How many guys are going to declare it? Declare it right now. 55,000, declare it. Okay, so I'm going to tell you, this is not a money claim, but there is so much money hanging around Hardcore around our community. There is so much money hanging around thezoneevent.com, right? There is so much money hanging around our community that if you just hang around it, it's gonna get off on you. Do you get it? Like, who you spend your time with matters. And so it's gonna rub off on you. So get in the community, right? If you don't have your ticket to Zone Event, go to thezoneevent.com. Thezoneevent.com. Somebody post it in the chat. Thezoneevent.com. You guys watching who are like followers or subscribers, clients, on the chats, put thezoneevent.com in the chats and tell people why they should go. Tell them you're going. Right? Help me move the world of entrepreneurship up, because we have got thousands upon thousands of dollars being made, and it's only a matter of time until that's you. And that is not an income claim. I cannot do that legally, but like just by default, if you listen to Peak Performance, they say, hang out with people who are making it in life, because those people have the same freaking problems you do, but they solve them. Money comes from connection. Connection comes from solving problems. Get it? Some of you guys have to solve the problem of being too busy. Have to solve the problem of your schedules being overbooked, right? And if you keep holding on to the old schedule, then you're just saying, I kind of like this. I have a payoff. I don't have to risk anything or have courage. You get it? So you guys have a messaging challenge. I want you to stop thinking about you. I'm going to give you a challenge of homework today. And when you show up on Shand On Demand tomorrow, when you listen to the woman talk about how she generated 55K, I want you to already know how to hook up a buyer for you, which for some of you, you might think, well, I have to figure out what to sell. No, you have to figure out a solution. What would be a blessing? You should be writing this down if you have a message problem. What would be a blessing if your buyer received it? And maybe you have to write a few of those so you keep going. Like a blessing, so it would be a blessing if all my entrepreneurs did our strategies and generated $55,000 in a month, right? Can't be an income claim, but totally possible, right? And so that would be a blessing. And so it'd also be a blessing if they didn't just win themselves. One of the things my husband said to me yesterday, he said, one of the things we're noticing in our leadership rooms is how absolutely focused entrepreneurs are on building their own business and missing helping other people get into the program, missing helping their friends and family get the same results as them. That's the word generosity. You will not make a lot of money unless you're generous. You will not, if you are not hooking people up, not just the people buying from you, but the people around you, you will never find me do something in my life that I do not share with my friends. You'll never see it. There's no way. None of them will tell you that they don't know where I'm winning, because I am giving them the same resources. Do you guys hear what I'm saying? So some of you guys need to get generous and start to build into your ecosystem. How do I hook my friends up? Some of you guys are playing the BAFcontest.com. Right? Hook your friends up. Some of you guys are winning in meditation right now. Have you shared that meditation with your friends? Or are you just doing it to solve your own anxiety? Because if you have anxiety, birds of a feather flock together. You got friends who have anxiety. And maybe they're not telling you. Why don't you share the meditation that you're doing? Evangelistic leadership is generous. Generosity means you'll start making offers that blow off the shelf. So you could have a small audience and make millions of dollars. I have a friend, Jason Fladlin, who once said we were doing an event and we sold our mastermind, Mentor Me Live. And I said, somebody who fails at the list building, we show them how to build their own audiences. They'll do like 300 to 400 people. Jason almost spit out his coffee. And he said, I would make about $1.5 to $2 million off 300 people on my list. Take that in for a second. On 300 people on his email list. Why? He has an opinion. He has a message that is connected to the buyer, and the message is always connected to their problems and the solutions that they want to see in their life. Whether you're selling cell phones, which are intuitive and make your life easier to connect with your friends and family, whether you're selling water bottles that allow you to measure the water that you drink so that you're not dehydrated, whatever it is. Like, I could sell this water bottle to campers as this is a way to keep your soup or your food hot or cold, to someone like entrepreneurs, how to measure your water so that you stay hydrated, to runners, how, like, it's not just a bottle. You get what I'm saying? The way this bottle is sold is connected to a message that resonates with somebody's vision of a relief. Okay, so now I'm going to tell you where 80% of your cash is. It's in the follow-up. And I'm going to run through this very, very quickly. So you need to pay attention, stop multitasking, right? And just be with me, because some of you guys are going to need to re-listen to this. Is this fair? Right? You guys ready? Put 80 in the chat if you're listening. I'll see how many people are listening. Put 80 in the chat if you're listening. 80% of your money, my money, and everybody else selling online or offline is in the follow-up. 80%. I'll give you an example. If I go do a webinar this Friday, and I do a webinar for 90 minutes, which, by the way, I like 3-hour webinars. Do you know why I like 3-hour webinars? Because the more I can spend time with my audience, the more they trust me and feel safe enough to buy. So I don't typically do 70-minute webinars. You know, I just don't, I'm just very personable. Who are my people out there that you're really personable? Put a P, right? How many of you guys are personable? Like if you and I sat next to each other, you would feel like you could add value to my life. Like you're personable and you get better with more connection. How many of you guys are like that, right? P's in the chat. So I'm like that. So I find the 70-minute webinar a little cold. I find it, anybody else find it cold? Put cold, right? I find it a little cold. And so 70-minute webinars are basically, here's a hook, here's a transition into content. This is the framework. And there's 3 different points to a webinar. Every point has 1 to 3 stories that go with every point that basically prove the point to the webinar. There's 1 to 3 stories with every single point that prove the point to the webinar. So for instance, if I wanted to tell you to be successful in entrepreneurship, you 100% have to be generous. You don't have to be good at selling. You have to be good at marketing. Okay. How many of you guys would feel relief if you didn't have to be good at selling, but you had to be good at marketing, right? You get good at marketing, which is your messaging, and you don't have to be good at selling, right? How many of you guys would feel relief? Put yes. Okay. So here's the thing with that. If that was one of my bullets on my webinar, then I need to share 1 to 3 stories of someone I know or a story I've read on the internet. By the way, you could probably go to ChatGPT and say, give me three stories that prove that people who work out make more money. See, people who are wildly successful, they're resourceful. They never sit in the weeds of the problem. They get the answer quicker. Money loves speed and money loves connection. Connection is currency, because we don't wait till tomorrow to make a decision on if we're going to buy a car. You'll never see me go, if I could hire a coach to work with me, you're never going to see me say, let me go ask my husband. Even though like our money is our money. I would say, I'm in, send me the link, and I'm just going to go tell Ash that I'm doing it. Right? Even if I need to ask Ash, because it's our money, I'm going to say out of my mouth, you're going to hear me say, I'm going to tell Ash that I'm doing it. What does that tell you? I'm going to enroll him. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I'm clear on doing this. People who take a night to sleep on it, they have delay in their spirit, which means they're lacking urgency, and I will see it in their habits. How many guys that's you? Put me. How many guys that's you? Put me. Right? Be honest. You have a delay in your spirit. You got to get it out. You got to get it out. Okay. So if you've never done my Hardcore Leadership Program, you should think about it. You should absolutely think about it if you have a delay in your spirit, because without urgency, the cost you're paying is massive. I do not have a link for you to join HCL, but if you want somebody to talk to you about hardcore leadership, put the word coach in the chat. Put the word coach in the chat if you want somebody to contact you about hardcore leadership, because here's the thing, you know that the delay has cost you a ton of money and a ton of success. And I don't know what your goals are in life, but I will tell you this for sure. I will tell you this for sure. They should happen now. Okay? So I can give you every strategy on the planet. If you can't close your urgency and you have delay in your spirit, I'm telling you, you're going to take entirely too long to learn something. Do you get what I'm saying? Yes? Got it? Okay. I see a bunch of people saying HCL was the best thing in my entire life. Like, it's powerful, right? You guys have done HCL, super powerful. If you have not done HCL, honestly, you should put the word coach and let us talk to you about it. Don't be afraid. Walk through the process of prioritizing yourself. Put the word coach, okay? Okay, so here are the things you need to know about follow-up. Number one is you have to track to succeed. So you need to track how many people you connect with on a day. Where can you connect? First of all, I know people are going to ask me how. You need to get courageous and do it messy. So I can tell you there's meetup.com, there's Facebook groups, there's Twitter spaces, there's Clubhouse Rooms that you could go and team up with people and create content for them. Okay, not everybody can do that because some of you guys suck at talking. So you have to find a different way. But there's so many ways of connecting, but that's one for you guys who actually can speak. Now, if you can speak and you don't do something to connect with people who already have audiences, you're lazy. You're lazy and you're lacking courage. Okay, I've been lazy. I have been lazy. I'm not being mean or rude to you. I'm calling it out. So you don't have to live that way today. Like, you can change it. You can literally go priority focus time even for 40 minutes today, and you got to track how many people do you connect with. So it would be a good use of some of your guys' time to fumble through a lot of no's on reaching out to Facebook groups, meetup groups, and be like, hey, do you need any help in content for your group? Yeah, what do you have in mind? Well, I just noticed that you have a lot of kids, right? How many of them are struggling with having good value systems or knowing their identity? I can help with that. And I'm happy to do that. And the reason why I would do that is I'm wanting to create more long-term partnerships, both for our audience and other partners out there that we could help their audiences. So I want to create reciprocal partnerships that we could build long-term together, long-term relationships. See if that works. Right? You're not trying to get them. You're trying to, the same thing about you guys struggling with messaging. You're trying to figure out, how can I hook them up? You'll figure out how to hook you up. Right? You'll figure out how to hook you up. But first think about, what are the pain points of some of these people who have big groups? It's content. How many of you guys know you don't put out enough content? Like, you know you don't put out enough content, right? Wouldn't it be nice to have somebody else come provide some of that content for you? 100%. Well, why would that be helpful? Because it helps your audience get engaged. You guys hear what I'm saying? So you're actually doing a good thing. Stop pretending like they're doing you a favor for you going and creating content. You're speaking, right? Maybe you teach them a course that you would normally charge for, right? Like, hook people up that already have audiences. And then when they say yes, then ask them, would it be okay if I gave them a PDF or I gave them, connected to whatever you're going to talk about? Now, what does that do for you? Lead gens for you. After somebody registers, if you don't know how to do this, you need a virtual assistant. Go to hiremypeople.com. Hiremypeople.com. Write that down on a piece of paper. Hiremypeople.com. Go get a virtual assistant that could help you create a lead generation product, a lead magnet, a reg page, and on the thank you page, put some sort of paid offer on that real estate. Do you guys hear what I'm saying? Now, not everybody can do that because some of you guys are so stuck in the effing weeds that you've been there for so long and you still didn't put the word coach to talk to us about leadership. You know, and you come on these lives and it's like, you have the best intentions, but you won't move. And I don't know what to tell you. It's like, you got to do the same thing all of us did. And some of us have to spend a ton of time training ourselves. And some of us pick it up fast. And that's just our nature. But at the end of the day, whether it's I got to study a lot to get to the top or I got to study a little to get to the top, do what you need to do to succeed. Are you guys hearing me? Are you hearing me? This is why people win at hardcore. They win because we call out the truth and you already know what you need. Got it? Okay, so that's a strategy so you guys who can speak and create content. My challenge for you is I want you to contact 15 people that have a meetup group, a Facebook group, something, and literally just fucking be courageous. Excuse my language. I know that's horrible, but I'm just passionate about this. I'm like, be courageous. Be okay if all of them say no, but at least look at how you communicate with them. Be like, were you opportunistic? Or were you actually truly thinking about them, whether you won or not? Because after you get a yes, I would love you to come provide some content. That's when you say, awesome, when do you want to do it? And then you say, would it be okay if I dropped a PDF on my morning routine? Because maybe that's relevant to what you're going to talk about. Or a PDF on how I set up my budgeting, my budgeting in a worksheet, right? Like, would you mind if I gave that to them, right? And they're going to say yes, which is going to be behind a registration page. And then if you don't have a virtual assistant, go to hiremypeople.com. And they can set up the pages for you. Tell them this is where you got this strategy. Take this training, give it to them, or clip it, like on Facebook. It's on Facebook, YouTube. Take it off, clip it, and say, here's the strategy I want to do, right? And they'll listen to this and they'll do it. And then you can collaborate with that virtual assistant around what is the lead magnet about. Go to ChatGPT and ask them to take the idea and make it a great headline. And then for God's sakes, hook yourself up. Like, I didn't get here because I waited for somebody to tell me what to do. I got here because I got bullish on literally tracking how many people do I connect with a day. Got it? Now, for some of you guys who have email lists already, right? So what are you doing to connect with the email list? Connection is currency. Are you booking your calendars out? Right? I only ever, if I give an opportunity to talk to me or talk to our team or even our coaching department, I only ever give 3 days. Why don't I give 2 weeks or 2 months with people to be able to book a call? Because they don't show up. 50 to 55% of people who sign up for a free call with you don't show up. Stop bitching about it. There's no point to bitch about it. It's no different for Brendan Burchard, Tony Robbins, anyway. That's just a cost of business. Okay, it's going to be 50 or 55%. Stop complaining about it. You know what I mean? If you want something different, make people put down $7 or $20 or $97 refundable to talk to you. You'll get less people, but if it really bothers you to have no shows, then solve it. You'll have less people. But maybe they're more qualified and that works because you're a doctor or a musician or whatever, and you're working. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, stop complaining about what's not working. That's weak. And if you're going to win, you got to be a leader. And people don't buy from weak people. Do you guys hear what I'm saying? So you have to, behind closed doors, ball up. You got to get a backbone. You got to get resourceful. You can't keep complaining about a relationship. You got to solve the problem in the relationship, which is not, let me put on my running shoes and run out the door, right? It's, we have to agree to disagree. I'm going to stop complaining about the fact that you leave your underwear in the middle of the floor every single day. And I'm going to get somebody on care.com to come and pick up your underwear because I'm not going to pick up your underwear anymore. And then solution solved. You get it? Like, solve the problem. That's what leaders do. So you got to focus on how many people you're connecting with. So the question to ground this is, are you connecting with people who have groups already that control audiences, or are you connecting with your own list? Or are you going to go live like Shand on Demand every single day? Okay, making offers is not hard because people already know if they need you. Being bold is hard. But when you get comfortable in it and you first get your big set of people who hate you, I promise you the audience will flip and people will love you. How many of you guys appreciate my boldness? Put bold in the comments. You might not agree with it all, but how many of you guys appreciate my boldness? Put bold in the chat. Okay. How many people it drives you absolutely nuts how bold I am? Put the word nuts, N-U-T-S, right? How many guys it drives you absolutely nuts how bold I am? Put the word nuts. Okay. And there might be some, right? But what happens at the beginning is there's a lot of people who it drives them nuts, right? And then there's less and less and less. Make sense? Got it? You can't get a big audience without being bold on something. Okay, so the second thing is when you're done, focus time with yourself. So number one, you're not making money if you're not connecting. So track your connections, set a target. How many people you're connecting to? It's a non-negotiable. It's a non-negotiable. What can prevent that is a human moment. Okay, that's what we call it at Heartcore. It's a human moment. So too many human moments mean you're unreliable. And you just got to close that gap, right? You have to realize, do you want that to be your brand? Because everybody will treat you like the brand you build. And it just like being bold, at first, there's a lot of people it drives them nuts. And then you get an audience that says, I love your boldness, right? Whatever your boldness is. So as that starts to flip over, know that if you have a reputation or a brand on you that is unreliable, it does not take long to change that. Just have a vision for yourself. In 2 to 3 months, the people who nag at you will stop, because you will keep showing up consistent enough that you will get an army of support. So the only reason why people have shit on you or have something on you to nag at you is because you've been unreliable somewhere. Do you get it? Yes. And that could be unreliable on hitting your targets. Okay. So that can change in 2 to 3 months. Like, the good news is it doesn't have to be years. Okay. Because at some point in 2 to 3 months, you stop caring what they think, and they stop, when there's no charge there, they have to admit that you've shifted. So to me, that's highly encouraging. Is that encouraging for you? Right? It's highly encouraging that you don't have to live a life in your past. So the second thing you have to look at is, what are the human moments? So I would encourage you, if you want the atmosphere of your life to shift quicker, is to, especially people that look at you, that I guess drain your energy because you've got a negative brand with them, go expose your human moment and just say sorry and call it a human moment. Just be like, I have had a human moment of X, and I just want to let you know that I'm sorry and I know it's affected you. It will change people's hearts. Okay. Some of them are really righteous and they're going to tell you how much you're right, that human moment has affected their life, and just bite your tongue. Okay. Just bite your tongue. Don't trigger. Just bite your tongue. But your atmosphere in your life matters, and you got to get people on your team. And the only way you can get negative people on your team is to literally prove to yourself, because you will be a non-negotiable. People do not come to me that don't want to change. They just don't. People don't come to me and sit in my space. They really don't, you guys, and complain. They just don't. Nobody in my life comes to complain to me. And because I just not a space for it. Okay. I'm highly empathetic. Kimberly, if you came to me and said, I'm working on this thing and it just hasn't worked out yet, but I know there's a way, I'm going to sit down with you, Kimberly, and go, well, let's talk through that. But if you came to me and you were complaining about it, I'd be like, I'm out. Do you know what I mean? Like, I can't do that. So I'd be out. I'd just tell you, change it. Got it? And so you wouldn't have any payoff for being in my space. So you got to look for the human moments. And the human moments are the reason why you didn't hit your connection target. Do you guys get it? So your human moments are why you didn't hit your connection target. So I'll give you one on our sales team today. One of the girls on our sales team said, I don't know what to do in my priority focus time. And so what I did was I started to reach out to people on the team to get clarity. How many of you guys need data? Right? Put data in the chat. Like, it's like you find that you're always on this hamster wheel of needing something from somebody else. Let's just call that data. Put data in the comment section, right? Especially if one of our sales girls is watching that had this challenge. Just know you're not the only one, right? Like, there's other people who have this challenge. That's a human moment. So I said to her, I said, you have an intimacy challenge. And I guarantee you that what you're not doing is preparation. So I said to her, in your priority focus time, take 20 minutes or 30 minutes and literally just develop a plan that you're going to attack to create connection somewhere. So are you going to create lists? Are you going to like do searches on YouTube or Facebook to find meetup groups or whatever? You get what I'm saying? Like, what's the plan? And the reason why people outsource and look to other people for clarity is because they are not getting intimate with, well, if I had nobody to talk to, this is a great thing for you data people. If you had nobody to talk to, what would be the plan? What would be the plan? If you were just going to be humble, what would be the plan that you could design to have you connect with people in a 1 hour or 2 hour or 30-minute priority focus time? Make sense? Priority focus time, to be clear, is you focused on connecting with people. Okay? Got it? Because you can't make money if you don't connect with people. You can journal all day long about what you want to sell, but it ain't selling off the paper. Okay? So you must connect with people. And if you don't know what to sell, you need to connect with people and find out what they need. Because by tomorrow, or by the end of the day, you'll know what to sell. Right? It's like, hey, I noticed that you are a stay-at-home mom, or hey, I noticed that you are a parent, or hey, I noticed that you are connected to this group around anxiety. I'm just doing a little survey. And I would love to know, like, and ask a question, because you don't know what to sell because you haven't talked to enough people. And you still think that what you sell has to do with you, and it doesn't. You're an entrepreneur, it has to do with them. Did that help some people? Right? Yes, no, maybe so. So human moments, look for the human moments, and you gotta shift the human moment. The human moment can't keep going into your priority focus time. Got it? If you don't know what priority focus time is, you've got to go study the last 2 days of Shanda On Demand. Okay, how many of you guys think that this week has been fire? If this week on Shanda On Demand has been fire, right? How many of you guys think that? Put fire in the chat. Right? And so you got to go study it. Okay. I mean, you can go spend a shitload of money on putting all these pieces together, or you can come to Shanda On Demand. You can hire us for accountability, right? You can put the word coach if you want to hire us for accountability, and we can help you close the gap on your money and your leadership, right? But at nothing else, watching our stuff, you by default will get better. It's quicker with a coach. It's definitely quicker with a coach. But that's up to you on how ambitious you are and how much you either want to succeed or struggle. You know what? There's a cost to how long you spend in struggle. Here's the third thing on where 80% of your money. 80% of your money is connections currency. You've got to start tracking on priority focus time. If you need money, you need to spend an hour to 90 minutes every single day that you focus on just connecting with people. Okay? Then when you don't hit your number, if you don't, it's a human moment. Solve the human moment. What needs to shift? One of my human moments was I had 5 hours of text messaging every single day. 5 hours of text messaging when I looked at my screen tracker, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to change that. That's a human moment. And I started having to train people, don't text me. Slack me or Voxer me or WhatsApp me, whatever it is that you like, and move everything. My friend Pete Vargas, he doesn't even do text with his friends. Everything is on Voxer. Why? Why does he have everything on Voxer? Because he can manage his life. So his friends are in Voxer, his business associates are on Voxer. I've never asked him, but I guarantee you, he looked at his text messaging and the back and forth through texting throughout the day. It has you shift gears. And you don't realize how ineffective it's making you, right? So Voxer, Voxer with a V, Voxer. Yeah, see some people putting that. Okay, so look for the human moment and solve it so that by day 3 of doing priority focus time with selling, you will start to master it unless you're highly stubborn. Okay, and the way that I help people become effective is I look for the human moment and we shift it. The last thing is you must always give a CTA, call to action. So if you are making an offer to someone to buy your product, you need to say to them, you can't just do a great job at presenting stuff. You need to say, like, Hey, Jenna, loved our conversation. I really think you should join the XYZ program. And so I'm going to send you a link right now. Put down your deposit. Soon as you're done, message me back and I'll give you this bonus, or I'll celebrate with you, or I'll at that point let you into the Facebook group. My point is a call to action tells somebody to go to a link or give you a credit card, and then there's something after that that you give them. It can be as simple as I will add you to the Facebook group as soon as you put down your deposit. This is wild how many people miss this because it's not really trained in the skill set of selling. Okay, it's trained if you've studied copywriting, and copywriters are really good at making sales. So CTA looks like this with parenting. All right, Zach's my son, for you guys who don't know. I would like you to clean up all your toys and to fold your laundry, hang up all your shirts, make sure it's all neat and tidy, all your shoes are in a line, everything is in excellence. We don't do sloppy. Excellence. Once you're done that, I want you to come back to me and let me know that you're done, and then let's walk through it together and show me why you did what you did, and let's celebrate you. Or it's then we'll get online and we'll book the Disney cruise or the movie that you want to go to. Get what I'm saying? There's something, it doesn't matter if it's as simple as joining a Facebook group or celebrating with someone, or if it's a bonus, like a give or something like that. If you don't do that CTA with, I call it a tail. It's like you ask somebody to go to the page and sign up or put down their deposit, or I just text messaged you a link. If you don't do that and then have something afterwards, people lack urgency. Okay, they lack urgency. I asked you guys, how many of you guys have a spirit of delay? First of all, every single one of you guys who have a big ass to-do list that's like causing you stress, you have a spirit of delay. And you also have a prioritization issue, which then keeps you busy and out of learning skills like this because you've already bounced off or you're already texting somebody else and you're missing this content right now. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, there's an intimacy challenge. So I'm gonna give you a quick summary and then I'm gonna jump over to VIP, okay? So 80% of your money is in follow-up. I gave you a structure, track your connection in a day. I would put it in a 1 hour, 90 minute, or 2 hour time slot. I call that priority focus time. So track it, declare how many people you're gonna talk to. It's a non-negotiable. If you didn't hit it, you had a human moment you need to expose and change, solve it. And then the third thing is you must call people to action and then give some sort of a tail afterwards. I'll celebrate with you. I'll give you this bonus. You must do it like that. If you're in sales and you're actually talking to somebody or you're making an offer on a virtual platform, the way this looks is a follow-up sequence. 80% of your money is in the follow-up sequence. If I did a full-blown offer right now, there would be a small percentage, maybe 3 to 5% of you that would buy. If I sent emails or text messages for the next 5 days, 80% of you guys are going to buy. So that 3 to 5% is going to jump to 25 to 30%. You do the math. Go look at how much you've made in a month and ask yourself, have you rigorously, there's that word rigorous and urgency, have you rigorously gone back and connected with people? I don't just connect and say, hey, Billy, have you made a decision to buy that product yet? Or buy my shit, my stuff? Billie Jean always says shit, right? It's no. I go out in the connection is currency campaign and I'm like, hey, Billy, are you still thinking about this? How many other things have you thought about for far too long? And how much money has that costed you? Maybe it's costed you intimate time with people that you love because you're always on this hamster wheel trying to succeed. What if you just hit reply to this email and put the word coach? And I gave you a call later on today. And we talked about how you could prioritize this training in your life and how it's going to monetize out fast. Or do you guys get what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't even have to be perfect, but I have to think about Billy. I can't think about selling my product. I got to think about what's happening in Billy's head right now. Is he fighting with his spouse, right? Is Jessica or Natasha, like, are they always feeling disappointed with their results? Well, there's the topic of a follow-up sequence or email or copy, right? Are you tired of, and by the way, it's not marketing, it's more conversational, but it's empathetic. So please don't look at me like she's good at copy. I am good at loving my people. And I know it takes some time to succeed. That's why I don't have, 30-day programs, because they don't work. People don't get the results. There's human moments in your life and my life, and we need strong people around us to help CTA calling us to action in a quicker fashion. You guys hear me? Yes? And so it is a blessing for you to take what I trained today and start now realizing you know what to do in priority focus time. So stop using confusion as a reason to not be successful. My love to you guys. Tomorrow on Shand on Demand, we're going to bring up a woman who's applying these type of strategies, and she generated $55,000. And by the way, that's on the low end of what most of our clients are creating. And so, and if you're a client watching right now and you haven't created $55,000, my question to you is, where is the spirit of delay? You don't get paid for working hard. You get paid for a call to action. You get paid for helping people get the spirit of delay out of them. And you get paid for helping people overcome their human moments. That's how you sell, my friends. Help your people get over their human moments, and you will have a sale today. Are you guys good with that? So I'll see you on Shand on Demand tomorrow at 9 a.m. California time, 12 noon Eastern. And VIP, I'm going to jump with you now. All right, take me off social. Bye, guys.